What up, world? My name is Afrika, and my guest is the one and only Smash Afrika. What up, Smash Afrika for the babies? You good? You nice? Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us about you and talk to us about your new endeavor. I hear you are releasing a podcast soon, but before we get into that, tell me about yourself. Yo, Africa, my name is Smash Afrika for the babies. First and foremost, let me just clear the air. For the babies has nothing to do with girls. I will smash it. It's all about the next generation. Now think about it this way, bro. Wherever you go, you need to leave it better than you found it. Example, you're using the toilet and it's clean. Bro, if you got skid marks on that toilet, you need to use a toilet brush. Okay? You know what I mean? I'm a South African broadcaster, radio and television. You know, I took a break from radio recently, and now I felt like it's time for me to come back. And you know, it's about to be spring. You know, the true African stars are coming out. You know, and the moon is shining on everybody. In terms of who I am, hey man, I'm a Martian, originally from Bloem. And I moved to Johannesburg back in 2010 to pursue my dreams to become a radio presenter. And I worked at Voice of Vets. I worked for YFM, I worked for 5FM, and I got onto TV, did massive music, and you still see me doing some work with Channel O and Zanzi Magic, you know. Yeah, man, I'm just a creative who believes in shining a light on other creatives, and most importantly, sharing people's stories through their creativity. That's who I am. I'm just a vessel. Damn. Now, I want to know about your podcast, Leave It Better Than You Found It. First and foremost, like, I think it's our duty as people to always leave it better than we found it, right? Now, if you're working in the entertainment space, it's a cutthroat business. It's not easy to crack. It's also not easy to be consistent, maintain, and delivering at your highest level, right? And with this podcast, it came in a time in my life where I was going through a lot, yo. And I don't want to delve too much into it, but like from going through a divorce, going through depression, going through trying to find my place in the world. You know, I'm known to be the guy with high energy. I'm known to be the dude who brings the heat. I'm the happy guy all the time. But, you know, over the past year, I was just showing up because I had contracts and agreements to show up. Little did I know I was going through the most. I was inside a storm, right? And while going through that storm, I was hit by a realization that in every hurricane, there's always an eye of the storm. Oh man, that's power. And that's the place where it's tranquil. That's the place where there is sunlight, there is peace. But around it, there's so much commotion. And it's so easy for us to miss the bigger picture. And what is the bigger picture? That peace is within each and every one of us. Whatever the challenges, whatever the lows, whatever the highs that we might be going through, peace you'll always find inside. And I found my peace, and I was inspired to take it further and create this podcast called Leave It Better Than You Found It. And hopefully we'll get people who are going to share their story. We want storytellers. We want people who are going to speak about their journey and in different industries, of course, and how they hope, and some of them have left it better than they found it. So what do you plan to achieve with this podcast going forward? I love that question because it actually speaks to what I just spoke to you about right now, right? I plan to remind people that they have the power to change how they see themselves. And if you can change how you see yourself from negative to positive, and other human beings are watching you and they can relate with your story, they can easily tap into their greatness. Now, God gave us this beautiful gift when we were all born, right? He gave us the ability to create. We might not necessarily all be creatives who are in the music industry or the film industry, But whatever you do as a human being, you are brought here to create. Whether you are creating peace, whether you are creating joy, whether you are creating inspiration, or whether you are creating an environment for growth, to live, to exist, and to persist, and for people to be the light. You know, we are all the light. We are the salt of the earth. What is salt without flavor? Nobody messes with salt with no flavor. We throw it out, right? And nobody is trying to walk through a dark tunnel with no light. And we possess that. It's in our eyes. It's in our DNA. It's in our fabric. The question is, what is it going to take for you to realize the power that God gave you? Your God-given talent. And you know, whether you're a Christian or whatever religion, His grace is sufficient for everybody. Always see you through the pain, always see you through the struggle, and most importantly, celebrating and highlighting the importance of fighting through. That's what I hope to achieve with this podcast, man. I think I'm starting to sound preachy. Where's my Bible, baby? I need my Bible right now. I need to quote a verse. Now, everybody wants to know, who will you be bringing on your podcast and what can we look forward to? I'm excited about the caliber of guests who will be coming on the podcast because as a creative myself and someone who's worked in the media industry for well over a decade now, I've encountered and engaged in many interviews with musicians in the industry, South Africans and Africans. So I'll be bringing artists. I'll be bringing on filmmakers. Now, the thing is, when you talk about filmmakers, we're not just talking about the actors. I'm talking about the cast and the crew. The dude who is the sound designer. The dude who did the score. Ooh, baby. The writer. You know what I mean? And the reason why I feel like we need to showcase these people because their journeys matter and their story needs to be told. And last but not least, part of entertainment is sports, right? So I'm bringing sports stars, current and retired, administrators in that field, so we can chop it up. Because at the end of the day, when you look at art, right, and I'm talking about like music, film, there are people who are working behind the scenes when we only see the main artist on the front stage. I need to tap into those people's stories. When we look at your let's say you love football, let's say you love rugby, let's say you love cricket, golf, whatever it is, we need to hear the mentality that those individuals had to acquire over the years of being sportsmen or sportswomen. Because I can't imagine it to be an easygoing journey, especially if you have won and now you're on a losing streak, or if you started from the bottom and now you're the hero. These are the people I look forward to bringing on the podcast. And what I hope to achieve with this is highlighting their stories, celebrating them, and hopefully inspiring you watching this. Because you too are that person that is sitting there. You just don't know it yet. And some of you guys know it. So what are you going to do to tell your story? And that's what this podcast is about, Africa, man. You know? I'm out of words, and that's all the time we have with Smash Afrika. From my side, Africa. Remember, Africa, my people. One time.